Hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Geekdom 101. This is an interesting one. Which Majin Buu is the strongest? Now, I always just had in my head that Kid Buu was like the definition of how strong Buu is, but for him to have made this video then makes me go, oh, is that not the case? Goes to show how stupid I am. So let's see what he has to say on the matter, shall we? Let's find out which Majin Buu is actually the strongest.
Without question, the debate amongst which Majin Buu is stronger has been going on in the Dragon Ball community for a very, very long time, years, maybe even decades at this point. Right. And usually it's narrowed down to two versions of Buu. Kid Buu and Super Buu with the fusions. So on this video, we're going to attempt to answer this question once and for all by digging into the original Japanese source material, the original manga, and compare it to the anime, and see if we can make any sense of this. And of course, Herms is here to help.
Lord Frieza demands that you subscribe to this channel and follow Mr. Geekdom on these social media platforms.
Very well.
The debate between Super Buu, Kid Buu, Ultimate Buu, Majin Buu, Pure Buu, there's a million names for these forms, has been going on forever. I mean, it really has. And the major problem here in figuring out which version of Buu is stronger is it kind of depends on which version of the series you actually kind of lean towards. But there are still some contradictions and still some things that need to be explained. So, joining me on this video to give us a pure Japanese perspective, please welcome the legendary Herms.
Cool.
All right.
That's all I got.
I know. You're like Lance. Lance is like, hi. All right, so we're talking about Majin Buu here, and Herms, you and I have talked about how the Viz manga is, a good translation, but there are still, Viz-isms, and there are still problems with translation. I did a video, Lost in Translation, covering a few of these. There's too many to cover, in videos, and of course you've done a lot of them yourself. But it's still a decent translation. However, we're going to reference the original Japanese manga, which you own and you understand because you're fluent in the language, both reading and speaking. And as a result of that, we can get a much clearer picture. So, I want to start first and foremost with the manga and what the manga actually states, because there is a scanlation that's been going around for years now where old Kaioshin tells us, the audience, that Kid Buu, or the final form of Buu, pure Buu, if you will, is the strongest of all the Buus, or the most dangerous. And the word that I believe you used was Ichiban Yakai, but that doesn't necessarily mean strongest, so I wanted you to kind of elaborate on what this actually means.
Yes, so Ichiban is just number one, and then Yakai is the keyword. Roughly, a direct translation would probably be difficult or troublesome, but it's one of those words that's tricky because its meaning depends a lot on the context. And so in some contexts, it can basically be equivalent to saying strong or powerful, but in other contexts, it has nothing to do with that at all. So for instance, when Goku is fighting King Chappa back at the 22nd tournament, Jackie Chun on the sidelines, he sees this and he says, oh, Goku's up against quite a Yakai opponent, quite a troublesome opponent.
All right.
And of course, in this context, he's saying that Chappa is a troublesome opponent because he's so powerful. It's understood from that context that he means a strong guy. But then in other contexts, like Elder Kaioshin, he uses this word a lot. So earlier, he uses the same word to describe the fusion dance poses. When Goku is thinking of going to perform the fusion dance with Gohan, the Elder Kaioshin says, I don't think Buu is going to just stand around and give you the time to perform those troublesome poses.
Oh.
He uses the same word, Ichiban Yakai?
Yeah. Well, not Ichiban, but still just Yakai.
Yakai, right.
And so in that context, Yakai seems to basically mean troublesome in the sense of inconvenient.
Right.
And clearly nothing to do with strength.
Not like
so that
dangerous.
Brings us to the question then is that when this same character, Elder Kaioshin, uses this word to refer to Kid Buu, what does he mean? Does he mean strong or just troublesome? Because of course, with Kid Buu, he's got a kind of a personality where he'll just destroy things willy-nilly without
which is
any
quite troublesome
at all. And so, arguably, that could be what he means.
Is it fair?
Could mean personality-wise.
Because I've heard this also been tossed around the community, that Kid Buu might not be the most powerful, but he might be the most dangerous. Can Yakai also be translated as dangerous, or is that not the appropriate translation here?
It wouldn't be a literal translation, but you could make the argument that that is what he means when he says troublesome. Just that because he's unrestrained and because he can do anything at a moment's notice, that
he's
would make
unpredictable.
him dangerous. But if we're just, that's the thing. It's like it's a lot of stuff open to interpretation. But I guess the bottom line is that if you look at the Japanese manga, and I believe Viz is the same in this regard, there's no single line where anybody explicitly refers to Kid Buu as being stronger than the other forms.
Yes, because the debate's always been whether or not Kid Buu was stronger than Buu with Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo absorbed,
right, so
or as some fans call him, Ultimate Buu. Because I think a lot of the fans, Herms, and I respect this opinion very much, think it's hard to believe that Buu in his purest form could possibly be as strong as a Buu that has Goten, Trunks, Piccolo, and Gohan with his power unlocked, which makes him ridiculously stronger. I mean, people have said for years that he's the strongest non-fused character, up until the end of that arc, and I would find it hard to argue that, because we don't really see Gohan ever show any weakness except for being an idiot and not catching Katara. Other than that, he didn't really show any real physical weakness, except for against, of course, the Gotenks Buu, which was just too much power. So I think people kind of have a hard time accepting that, but the problem is the anime makes it a lot more difficult for us to really figure out who's the strongest, because there are several instances in the anime where they state that Kid Buu is stronger, but yet there's also contradictions too. Case in point, the scene where Goku is inside of Majin Buu when he gets absorbed with Vegeta as Vegito, and he sees Super Buu and he freaks out. He gets scared. That was not in the manga. Not exactly like that. They were in there, but not like that line.
But there is a line in the manga where Goku does tell Vegeta that even though they've powered Buu down by undoing his absorptions, they're still not a match, and that's why they need to fuse again.
And that's the funny thing, because then when they hop over to Kaioshin Realm, they decide, to unfuse, to not fuse, that is, and just fight them one-on-one. Now, of course, there's that whole, martial arts, I'm a Saiyan, I have balls, I want to fight them, I don't want to fuse, They did not want to fuse again. Do you see that as them thinking that Kid Buu was weaker than the Boos that they experienced inside of Buu, or whatever? Or do you see that as them underestimating Kid Buu? Because Vegeta does say that Kid Buu is stronger than he had ever imagined.
Yeah, so it could be both. So when, there's a very strange scene where Buu goes from, he starts at Super Buu, then he becomes extremely muscular, which is they say is the form he got from absorbing the Southern Kaioshin.
Yes.
And then for some reason he goes through that form again, even though he shouldn't have Southern Kaioshin in him at that point, but whatever. But when he's bulking up, Goku does say that his ki is rising. And then he shrinks down into Kid Buu, and then Goku says, specifically, oh, he's shrunk down physically. He's smaller now.
Yeah.
And it looks like we can manage something now. So it seems like
he's making an assumption, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
Right?
So he is assuming. He could be wrong, but
stating.
It's implying that for whatever that this Buu now looks weaker to them. And it's interesting. There's no explicit line where they say his ki has shrunk down.
Just his physical
but you could
appearance.
Say presume it's by the fact that they think he's weaker, because you'd think that they wouldn't be stupid enough to think he's weaker just because he's physically smaller, even though that's the only thing they explicitly comment on. But a lot of side debates we could get into, so I guess we just move on. But anyway, so there's that line, and then so it seems at first that they don't think as much of this form of Buu as the previous ones, and then they fight him a while, and there's a line you said where Vegeta says that Kid Buu and Goku are both a lot stronger than he imagined. And I don't think there's a line where Goku correspondingly says that Kid Buu is stronger than he imagined. But there is a line where he says that he thought the fight would have gone better than it is.
Yes, which kind of means the same thing. Yeah. And then there's also the line where Goku pretty much states later on in the fight, he's like, Buu has powered up in strength, skill, speed, or whatever.
Well, and that's only in the anime, though.
That's only in the anime,
right, okay,
yes.
so it's not
And that's
mentioned
the
in the
thing.
manga.
The anime makes things more confusing. Another line of confusion, which a lot of fans are confused about because they didn't read the manga, and as Kendamu would say, read the damn manga, the fight with SS2 Goku and Kid Buu, where Goku's doing pretty good for a little while, that was a great fight. Beautifully animated, but that fight was not in the manga at all. In the manga, they hopped right to SS3, or he tried to. It wasn't one of those things where he just fought him in 2 for a while. That was bonus material. So again, even though the fight was great, we can't really count that as part of Toriyama's vision of Majin Buu, because that fight really didn't make any sense. Let's be real about it.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool, but logically, Super Saiyan 2 Goku should be equal to Majin Vegeta, who obviously didn't do that great against Buu.
Yeah, they would have got their ass kicked by any version of Buu, even Fat Buu. Now, then of course there's the line where the narrator pretty much states in the episode recap that Kid Buu is the purely evil, absolutely most powerful, ultimate Buu.
Damn, there you go.
Which is a lot of adjectives,
yes,
or verbs, or whatever the hell those are. Again, we're seeing in the anime contradictions here, because in the anime it's pretty much telling us that Kid Buu is the strongest.
It's just the end
And let me ask you this, Herms, man. I think a lot of the fans, just from talking to a lot of them, I think they want Kid Buu to be the strongest because he's the final opponent, and
he's
there's
the last
always
person
that
to fight,
whole
just be annoying
final boss thing. Like obviously,
he was weaker.
Super Perfect Cell was stronger than Perfect Cell because of the Zenkai he got when he blew himself up, and of course, 100% Final Form Frieza is going to be the strongest Frieza. With Buu, on the other hand, I think they want Kid Buu to be the strongest, but there's so much evidence saying otherwise. However, the anime confuses you.
In the United States, at least, most casual fans and even relatively hardcore fans pretty much just watch the anime. And so if the anime explicitly says repeatedly that that form is strongest, then it does make sense that most people
would think that.
So, I mean, it's just one of those manga anime differences.
And of course, we talked about also in the dub, Goku refers to Kid Buu being twice as strong as any other Buu. That's another line that was not in the manga.
Yeah, it's not in the manga. It's not in the Japanese anime, but it is that line where he says double. It's the dub version of the line in the Japanese anime where Goku says that Kid Buu is several levels superior to any of the previous Boos when it comes to power, speed, regenerative ability, and several other characteristics. He's very thorough in listing how great this new form is.
Yeah, which again, that sounds like it's just Toei kind of trying to make... You know what this is, Herm? This is Toei trying to make the final battle more dramatic. I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with them adding in the Super Saiyan 2 fight to pad. I mean, I don't want to call it padding, seems derogative, but it is a great fight, but they did just add it in to make it, a bigger, everything in the kitchen sink finale.
Yeah, which to me, I think it actually... I don't want to actually definitively say this, but it seems like in the anime, Toei really wants you to believe that Kid Buu is the strongest. But let's go back to the manga. There's no evidence from everything you've told me that Kid Buu is stronger than Super Buu or any of the other Boos. I mean, it seems like Buu with Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo Absorb, Ultimate Buu, it seems like that would be the strongest Buu. Even though Vegeta manhandled him, not Vegeta, Vegeto manhandled that Buu, still, like, that Buu, and most fans will tell you that Buu is the strongest. I mean, what evidence is there against that in
there's nothing that disproves that, is there?
Well, I should say, there is no, so in the manga, there is no line explicitly saying Kid Buu is strongest, but at the same time, there's also nothing explicitly saying otherwise. There's no clear-cut statement on which Buu is strongest. But the reason, like you said, the reason why, I think there's a difference between fans who just kind of watch the series and then ones who are more into the whole power strength debate kind of thing.
Yes.
Because I think most fans who are into that aspect, that whole strength debate, power level, nitty gritty kind of stuff, I think most of them would say that Super Buu is stronger. And then most people who aren't into that, who probably just watch the anime or otherwise just don't really care too much about making elaborate lists of who is or isn't stronger, those guys would probably mostly say Kid Buu's stronger. If you just read the manga or watch the show, it's easy to think, well, like, the final enemy is generally the strongest, so why wouldn't it be in this case? And in order to see why it wouldn't be, you kind of do have to go into the nitty-gritty of all these different lines throughout these 7 volumes. But anyway, so the main reason, so why people think Super Boo's stronger is that Goku, several different times, he makes it clear that he's no match for Super Buu, or at least he doesn't think he is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first off, he insists on fusing with somebody before fighting him.
That's true, but then
the
with Kid
original
Buu, he's
plan
just
was
like, let's
Gohan,
fight this.
And then when that didn't work out, he was like, maybe Mr. Satan, maybe.
Yeah, and even that, he's like, well, this could make me weaker, but I'll risk it anyway, because
Better than nothing.
He does not want to fight that form of Buu unfused.
And this is the same Goku that was confidently saying he could beat Fat Buu, and later on thought he could beat Kid Buu at full power. So that same Goku is now in fear.
Yeah, and then so he becomes Vegito, goes inside Buu, splits up again, and then they unplug Gohan and Piccolo and all those guys, and then Buu reverts back, and Goku's like, oh, he's gotten a lot weaker, but then he's like, he tells Vegeta, we better do the fusion dance before we go out, because you broke the Potara, and otherwise we're no match for this Buu, even though he's weaker. So again, it seems like
so confusing.
Goku doesn't consider himself a match for Super Buu.
Yes.
Even without the other bonus absorptions. Yeah, and then turn this around, and then when Kid Buu comes on the scene, then he's like, well, we don't need to fuse. We'll just fight him on our own. And I mean, you could just say he's just being stupid, or he's just flip-flopping.
And Herms, he should know better than to underestimate somebody due to height, because not only was he super strong as a kid, but Frieza was like a little runt.
Yeah,
I
mean, he ended up being like, he was the strongest in the universe at one point.
That's more like Vegeta's thing, underestimating dude, which is also ironic for Vegeta, because he's so short, but...
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, so, so overall, so I do think this is genuinely, even going by the manga on its own, this is genuinely confusing and contradictory. But I think that if we stick to the manga, there's less contradictions if we say Super Buu is stronger than Kid Buu. And I mean, I do think there's more this is kind of a cop-out, but I do think there's more than one way to look at it. I do think, I'm not going to be like fundamentalist about which Buu is stronger, but I mean, if I had to choose, then I would say Super Buu. And so there's the question of, you can look at it as in, like, which version gets you the least contradictions. Yeah. And then there's a separate question of what was Toriyama thinking? What was his intention?
Where was he going with it? Yeah.
Probably never going to get a clear answer on.
No.
Unless someone, after
he did
all
seem
these
to
years,
very much make it up as go along.
Interviews. I have to assume he just doesn't know or care at this point.
Well, not just that, Herms, but if he gives us an answer, it might be a contradiction anyways. Like, you know how he's been doing that a lot lately in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and he was asked at one point in Viz's Shonen Jump, there was a short Q&A, and someone asked what Majin Buu's power level was, and he gave this, not a specific form, just in general, and he gave this, like, incredibly vague answer where it's like, it might be something that would really surprise you. He has said in interviews that his opinions on, his views on where the characters related to each other in terms of strength would change a lot as he wrote the story.
You know, I've always thought since I was a kid that the reason why Kid Buu is more dangerous, because he's supposed to be like this, this pure personification of evil, is because having Gohan inside of him somehow
made him
lessened
nicer?
his evil, kind of like how when Fat Buu
that's
absorbed
a good
the Kaioshin.
thing as well.
So
That's
is there
a good
any
theory.
validity to the theory? Of course, it's a theory that possibly with Gohan being inside of him, we never got to see that version of Buu at his full potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's not explicitly stated, but if you were to argue that Kid Buu was stronger, I think that's the only way you could do it. The only way it would make sense for a character with absorptions to be weaker than his own self without those absorptions would be for those absorptions to make him weaker. And we are told that is what happened with the Grand Kaioshin. It's not entirely clear in Japanese if the Southern Kaioshin also made him weaker. Like, it seems like it made him stronger, because when he powers up into the muscular form, Goku says his ki is rising. But then there's the thing where it's like, well, if one Kaioshin weakened him, shouldn't the other one also weaken him
as well?
But then they single out the Grand Kaioshin for being kind.
That's it. His and Gohan's very kind. So I mean, it would make sense.
I mean, speaking of absorptions and whatnot, so there's the line Goku says in both versions, the manga and the anime, where when he turns down the opportunity to use the Potara, he points out that Buu is no longer fused. In other words, he says Buu is not absorbed with anyone else. So it wouldn't be fair for us to fuse either. Since Goku and Vegeta are weaker in their unfused forms, then by extension, it would make sense for Goku to be implying that Buu is likewise weaker now that he doesn't have
fused either.
Absorptions.
You know, the universe is at stake right now, but he wants to make it a fair fight. No, don't make it a fair. I mean, what the hell? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Dragon Ball. It's Dragon Ball.
It would be even more ridiculous if Buu was stronger unfused. You know, in that case, it would be like, you know, well, he's unfused and stronger, so we're fight him unfused and weaker. Like, that would be a really strange definition of fair.
Yeah, that would be very strange, especially since he's a demonic being that's been there since the beginning of time. But we didn't know that back in 94, 95, or 96.
And I do wonder, like, I wonder if that line in particular is Toriyama's way of framing the final fight. Like, he's saying, these aren't the strongest characters, but we've seen the strongest fused character, Vegito, versus the strongest fused bad guy. So now we'll watch the unfused characters fight, and that'll be our big finale.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not the most powerful versions of the characters, but it's like the purest in a martial arts sense. Like, maybe that's Toriyama's way of hyping people up for this fight.
It's the only thing that makes any sense. Plus, don't forget, there's that small sequence in the anime, again, just the anime, where Goku and Vegeta fight Buu, Ultimate Buu, and they get their asses handed to him. So, I mean, there's no way that Buu, he has to be a lot stronger. You know, even though the absorptions maybe made him less dangerous, you know, that could be the difference. I don't know.
The evil skinny Buu. The narrator says that when the original Fat Buu splits into good and evil, that the evil Buu took the majority of the power.
Yes.
So presumably both of those forms are weaker than the initial Fat Buu,
and when
the
that's
one who fights Majin Vegeta.
Yes. It was like a 51-49 split, maybe more, maybe 60-40.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But this is a line that was changed in the Viz manga, so that's another issue.
Oh,
Piccolo
God.
says the same thing the narrator does in the anime. Piccolo says what the narrator does in the manga about the evil one getting the majority of the power.
That's right. Right. Up. I remember that because I saw that fan sub in 9th grade. Everybody check out Herms on Twitter, twitter.com/Herms98.
So that's an interesting
Let us know
one.
your thoughts down below, folks. Now with this information, what do you think? Let us know down below. Thank you, Herms.
This debate will never end, but
No, it doesn't seem it can, because there's no definitive facts out there that tell us which one's
At
actually
least we can
stronger.
inform them of what the original source
That makes
says,
sense.
and
That
then you
makes
can go
sense.
from there.
This is this.
Thanks.
This is
We'll
that.
catch you down the road.
Damn! Wow, that was a interesting discussion. Never really thought about it like that. I totally forgot about. I thought they were just using, those three. But then when you look at it, you would think that the fused forms, but then what if Gohan is making him weaker because he's not going all out because he's nice? Things like that. All the different Kaioshins in him affected all the different stuff. Withheld his power. Some things made him strong. Everything's quite contradictory. So that is an interesting discussion. Damn, that's cool. I like these things. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Then we always watch us in future videos, and I'll see you guys. It's all you guys next time.